Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast, and last week I was so excited when Warhammer Quest popped up on the Warhammer TV preview. I thought, oh my goodness, we're getting some classic Games Workshop back. But sadly, I jumped the gun, so did a lot of us, and it was in fact too good to be true. Alright, so last week Games Workshop did a little teaser video for Warhammer Plus, and they showed little sneaky peeks of them playing Warhammer Quest. Now Warhammer Quest is an old school dungeon crawler from the 90s, from 1995. In fact, last week we had a look on Top 5 Friday of some of the games that Games Workshop could and should potentially be bringing back. But they showed a couple of sneaky peeks of it, and it looked so good, the way they'd done it, the way they'd shot it, the way the models looked. They had a couple of cool little side scrolls, a cool little just demonstration of the dungeon. And I mean, I would have been what, 6, 7 at the time, and the kid from back in those days, from the red box green base era, got mega excited, and I thought maybe we were going to get it back. But as the Games Workshop preview came out on Sunday, the Sunday preview, Warhammer Plus, this week on Warhammer Plus, Deep Strike gets together with two of the creative team behind Total War Warhammer and talks all about the second game and blah 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 blah. Questing Nights, this is what we want. Questing Nights also takes a look into the past, where they crack open the original Warhammer Quest from 1995 to celebrate its 30th anniversary, and Painting Desk gets wild with new techniques for painting Dark Oath chieftains. So here we go. This is it. So basically Questing Nights, so it's going to be, from the looks of it, which I could be wrong, it looks like it's going to be a one shot of them playing through Hero Quest. No, not Hero Quest, Warhammer Quest. Ooh, that's cultural appropriation there, because not all dungeon crawlers are Hero Quest. Right, what does this really mean? Now, I am a very hopeful guy, you know me. I am that guy from your game club who gets excited by every new game. I'm the guy that your internal wallet warns you about, because I'm like, ooh, shiny, ooh, we could do this, ooh, we could play this, ooh, look at this, it's new, it's exciting. I am unabashedly and unashamedly that positive person. I am the person who believes we're going to get Blood Bowl news every single Sunday. I get really excited, then Trick messages me at 17:58 to say, no Blood Bowl on the preview, but one day we'll have Blood Bowl news. But we did a Top 5 Friday last week where we had a look at the best games that Games Workshop have got floating around that they really could bring back. And Hero Quest, oh my god, not Hero Quest. Maybe that's maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's why. No, not even Advanced Hero Quest. Warhammer Quest is one of those games that Games Workshop, I really genuinely think they should bring back, or they should bring back something like it, because I believe they've got a massive gap in their current product range. If you look at their product range, if you look at how they do and what they sell and how they operate, let's minimize my face and we'll go to the under maintenance on the Games Workshop website. Oh, for God's sake. All right, never mind. All right, you've got the big box games, right? You've got the full-on army games. You've got 40k, you've got the Old World, you've got Age of Sigmar apparently, and they're all just floating around. You've got Horus Heresy in there as well. Those are kind of like the big box full army games. And the way they are pushing those, and I definitely am going to do a video on this some other point, because I think this is causing a bit of damage to the way we play hobby these days, is it's very, very matched play focused. It's really about, like, here's the meta, and I know I love a bit of meta when it comes to Blood Bowl, but you know, if you're watching this channel, that the best way to play Blood Bowl is, oh right, okay, sevens obviously, but it's that league event, it's that league, it's the building of a story, it's that continued like buy-in, it's that, I mean, you get a load of bang for your buck with a league. You get that progression, you get that story element. And when it comes to the bigger box games, it's a really interesting kind of dichotomy, because the overall investment is significantly more. Jay from Eons of Battle did a video this week about how much it costs to get into 40k. TLDR, about $1,200, which in English human money is, I don't know, £800. £800 to get a 40k army. I'm sure you can do it cheaper, but it's not really coming in much cheaper than £400. It's probably a bit of a stretch actually. £500. which is a massive buy-in. When you're sitting here looking at us Blood Bowlers and it's like, yeah, I need a pitch, that's about 35 quid. I need a team, it's about 35 quid. Do you want to go halves on a pitch? Yeah, all right. All right, and we're good to go. And I'm going to play that team over and over and over again. And the games are going to be different. And this is the interesting thing with the way Games Workshop is doing their model is you've got the match play stuff and you build your match play army. You've got this one way to play. Yeah, the objectives change and stuff like that. So you do get a kind of like a different gameplay, a different puzzle to solve, which I do really like. But you got it's like a minimum of 35, 40 pounds to change up one unit in your army, and that's, you know, maybe 5, maybe 10% of your force. So it's really interesting that they've got that huge thing that's focused on the grind. And I think, you know, I get it, like as a you know, as somebody who works in the corporate world, like kind of getting people to pick up an extra unit to change up how they build, I think that's really a good model for Games Workshop. But what they're missing is they're missing this Christmas morning test passing dungeon crawler one box drop. They did some stuff with Shadespire, they did some stuff with what became Underworlds, right, which kind of is a really good model for them. The game is also kind of a very strangely limited thing because they had the card play element, and then you've got specific boards, and it limits what you can do with it. But they're missing that Cursed City, that Hero Quest, that Warhammer Quest, that family boxed game to kind of get people into the hobby. And I think that's something that Games Workshop really need to look into. And this is why I was really excited when Warhammer Quest came out. Well, when they kind of showed the video showing that like maybe it was coming back, is because I just think it's such a perfect way to get into the hobby. And there's a circle of Games Workshopness. Okay, you start with a small way in. All right, back in my day, that was, you know, Hero Quest, Warhammer Quest. Maybe you got into it via boxed game or Space Crusade, or maybe you got into it with like a one-drop box like Necromunda. You know, those boxes, they are like they get you in for a one-off cost. You've got enough to play with, and you start exploring, and then you kind of get into the hobby that way. Then you progress to the full-on war games, you know, the Warhammers, the 40Ks, and then you kind of come out the other end when you have young kids or a job, or just when the life gets busy. You kind of regress to wanting those small compartmentalized things. And there's two reasons for that. One is absolutely the cost, but not just monetary cost. Like the idea of spending $1,000 on a 40k army is just outrageous. But like, I do love models, and if you look at the shed, you'll see I've probably got at least $1,000's worth of resin here. But like, that's the hobby bit. There's the time buy-in for that. You've got to set up the games, you've got to build your force, you've got to paint your force. Like, I had this wonderful idea. I haven't given up us filming other games than Blood Bowl. But it's now June, and it's taken me this amount of time to paint enough terrain to do stuff, to get the boards ready, to do all this stuff, let alone painting forces. I mean, Blood Bowl's easy, and I love it. But when you kind of go, all right, Blood Bowl is 1/10 the size of a full war game, and it's scary. It's like, how? Like, it's taken me 6 months to get a board ready to play a game, and I haven't even started the armies. And it's really quite an interesting one. So there's two factors. One is the cost in time and money, and the second is the update speed. So they've got it right with Blood Bowl. I know I want more, and I want more because it's fun. But at the same time, the best thing about Blood Bowl is you can go to a tournament, and then 9 months later you can go to another tournament or a league night or play a game, and the game isn't particularly different. And that's so important. That's why Heresy kind of dragged people in. That's why I think, and I'm hoping, the Old World is going to be really good at, is it's a game you can play, and then when you get time in 6 months to play another game, the game hasn't changed. You haven't got a new General's Handbook, you haven't got a new deck of cards, you haven't got a new meta. You're playing the same game. And that's why games like those starter sets, those boxes you can pick up and play, that's why they get so alluring after the hobby balloon. Now, I'm hoping that there's another hobby balloon when your kids grow up a little bit, and that's what I kind of seen. But like, you kind of start small, go big, come back, and it kind of gets compressed again. And this era where your time and money and attention is compressed, that's the market, because the people in this market want to give you £100, Games Workshop. We want to give you £100 for a box of stuff that we can play, and we can play it for 6 months. Like, or, you know, you don't want the money, but they are missing that entry-level product. And it's also a re-entry level product, because it's going to get those people who used to play those games. And I think this is kind of what happened with Trips, right? New Munda came out and he was like, oh, I had a great time playing that as a kid. New Blood Bowl came out. Oh, I had a great time playing that as a kid. And he's back in the hobby. And that, I think, is something that Games Workshop need. Plus, it's really fun to build on some narrative stuff. But anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know if you still think Warhammer Quest is coming back, or if you think Games Workshop should just give up that kind of stuff or grow it. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for joining. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking.